Good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world exceedingly briefly before we go on stream today. I'm doing this now because I'm starting to get low in videos and Way Day is coming. I do not want to be trying to push out and do videos while that is taking place. So, got to start restocking on some of the vids, right? Okay, folks, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by Autistics for Autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much they threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused. You know the drill. Please read the article. Share it on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC actually does see through with their threat. Folks, when we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please make sure to utilize those headphones. Trigger warning 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they're watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised, all right? All right, where we left off, right? But before we do, let's see if I have my cleaner anywhere in the building. Nope, and I don't want to do it right now. So, to it, shall we? Hold on. This is gonna bug me. Screw it. Sorry, screw it. All right. So where we left off last time, I apologize if this has been a reread, but in my defense, it has been almost 10 days since I've done a video, all right? Hear me out on this and, like, be kind and shit. Like, be kind, seriously. All right. Nope, gotta see the Deadpool. All right. In addition, based on its site visit, the INSEAD criticized JRC for inadequate monitoring of AEs. Okay, I do remember going through this. Very, very interesting that the JRC is still trying to smear an entire state's Department of Education. But once again, it's that wonderful AH syndrome where everybody's lying, but it blows my mind that they continue to try to make Instead the goddamn villain here when Instead was acting within procedure, both federal and for that of the state of New York. They were doing their jobs. Okay? Our marching orders come from elsewhere when we get into those groups, all right? We report our findings as we see them. We may make recommendations during this time period when we come forward with the findings from doing such a trip, but it is ultimately out of our hands what that final decision is going to be. And it is completely insane to me that they keep vilifying that group from INSEAD as though they were some insidious monsters with a nonsensical axe to grind against about the JRC. It's this complete unrealization. It's this idea that INSEAD does nothing but twiddle its fingers around, just waiting for a moment to put together a ragtag team to take on. For fuck's sake, this isn't the damn movies. All right? That is not how any of this works in real life. God, I'm getting tired of saying it. Let's move on to the comment for today, shall we? Comment 26. A comment questions the validity of the FDA's concerns regarding AEs and underreporting because the commenter asserts it can confidently state that no treatment within ESD has ever resulted in a patient death or serious injury. There is a certain hospital within the Boston suburban area that has the documentation, the footage, and the photos to argue with this comment. We can, in fact, improve emphatically with medical documentation, evidence, and photos. From a local ER at a hospital nearby Canton, Massachusetts, where students reported and were seen and documented of having second and third degree burns, having lost feeling where the electrodes was placed on their skin. You shocked one kid, Andre McCullen, so many goddamn times that he suffered for 2 months of fucking catatonia. And you are really going to say with your full chest that we cannot prove that that device has actually ever harmed anyone? What rock did you crawl out from under the comment? How can you look at that absolute avalanche of evidence? DESI reports, ER reports, reports from professionals inside the fields themselves. You've had their parents come forward. You have had them come forward. You've had their treatment program teams that were formed literally to treat the very thing that you are trying to say doesn't exist, putting their entire careers on the line. And for what? 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 Tell me. Why are all these people, the survivors especially, putting everything on the goddamn line? Revealing the most personal parts of their lives, the horrific trauma that they went through. You think Andre McCollins wanted to have that videotape circulate around planet Earth where we got to view him at his most vulnerable, where he was treated like less than an animal? Because I'm going to vote no, he probably didn't. Nor does he want to be known for that one incident for the rest of his existence. But the JRC, right? The fact of the matter is, we can actually say, with the literal documentation to back it up, that that device absolutely 1,000% has caused injuries. And we're not talking like little pinches to the skin. Second and third degree burns are nothing to scoff at. I've been around ERs my entire life. I have sat there in the lobby waiting for family members to get off work so that they can take my ass home. I've seen people come in those ER doors with those burns. Are you really going to sit there where you can smell the flesh cooking and try and tell me that's not real harm? People trying to provoke me to violence today. 2 months catatonic, but that's not causing harm? Could you imagine losing 2 months? Not because you weren't cognitive of what was going on around you, not because you were in a coma, but because you now are in a catatonic state because of the violence that was forced upon you for hours on end. only to have the same entity say, but it doesn't cause any trouble. Bitch, do you want to know what would happen to my existence if I suddenly went catatonic for 2 months? Everything around me would fall down into shambles. Everything would be lost. Everything. Everything. That would not just cause a physical toll and a psychological toll, but has real life, real world, real existence consequences. It is completely insane to me that a person would even strive to make this comment, considering the avalanche of ER documents, New York and other school district documents, parent and student testimony, and video surveillance footage where we can all watch. And you are still trying to make this claim. Are you trying to say that the hospitals were lying now? Are you going to tell me they didn't really find second and third degree burns? That he wasn't really catatonic for 2 months as a direct result of being shocked for over 31 hours? Jesus. Let's finish the comment, shall we? I hope to God I never find this person in an empty room or I'm going to jail. The comment argues that the FDA's position on AEs is speculative and not backed by data, and that the underreporting would pertain to the other alternatives treatments for SIB or AB. Okay, genius, it's not their job to do your fucking job for you. They're the FDA. They are not the Department of Mental Health or the Department of Developmental Disabilities. You see, designing treatment programs that actually help people should be, as a provider of services, your fucking job. You should already know these things. You should already know about the different treatment programs that are out there, and there are literally thousands of them. Things like people-centered planning, in particular, they've claimed for years there is no data. Every single year they've claimed it, it's been a fucking lie, because we, the preparers who've been pushing this for so long, have been submitting that data to you for over 2 decades. That is a lie. That's a lot of lying. But it's not backed by the data. Again, let's revisit why this data doesn't exist. Because everybody else on planet Earth thinks your idea of medical treatment is so goddamn unethical that they're not even willing to participate in a study to prove or disprove this insanity. Because they view it as an ethical violation of patient human rights, even if the person volunteered. Okay? That's the reason why the data doesn't exist. Underreporting regards saying that, but there's no data about these other programs working. Yes, there is. The reason why you don't know about it is because the JRC doesn't want you to know about it. And when individuals come along like me who try to tell you about these other programs, what their data are, what it's actually looking like, what the specs look like, what the success rate is, you all essentially plug your ears with your fingers, close your eyes, and scream like a 3-year-old. I know, because I've tried and tried and tried and tried and tried until I'm blue in the face. I've had psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists, social workers, counselors, therapists all come along with me when I've tried to do these little visits. Fun, right? That is a lie. Number two, again, not our job to do your job for you. As a provider of services, it is literally your job to know about these other programs. And no, I don't mean just scanning the headlines knowledge. If you can't do your job to at least be able to keep on top of what is current trends in regards to service providing in your career path you chose, then you don't need to be anywhere near the medical or mental health fields, and you should probably contemplate another frame of work. May I offer call center work, where literally your job is bullshitting people? Okay? Can speak with personal experience on that one. I deal with a lot of Garrets who've been bullshit by some slick son of a bitch that got them something they didn't even remotely want or need. But you know what I'm saying, right? You can't sit there with your full chest with all this avalanche of evidence, just sit there in the middle of the floor and say, well, none of that's true. Because why, Karen? Because everybody's just making shit up about the JRC because we're bored and it's Tuesday? Nobody's that fucking bored. Nobody just randomly selected the JRC to gang up on. All right? Put your victim complex up somewhere unpleasant. Okay? You're not the victim here. Nobody's just targeting the JRC because we've done nothing wrong. Starving people is wrong, regardless of whatever justification you try to throw up to actually say it's good. Shocking people, spanking people, waterboarding people, pinching them until they bleed, forcing staff members to grow their fingernails longer so they can cause more damage to the fucking students. And that's before the GED device, kids. They killed 2 damn kids before the GED was even out the gate. Think about that for a minute. You are running a device that is just below the lethal limit. You cannot, in good conscience, try to sit there and tell me that there has never been an incident of direct harm, because that's a lie. And you have paid off people time and time and time again to keep their mouth shut. But at the end of the day, that's not going to save you, because some of us fuckers can't be bought. I'm going to go ahead and finish my thought here. The fact of the matter is, the reason why there's no data that exists that an electrical device could cause harm to an individual is, first of all, it's common fucking sense. You don't lick your finger and stick it in the light socket because you're probably going to get electrocuted. Okay? It doesn't change because you created the device and we say we use it for medicine. Does it cause physical pain directly, or does it not? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, that's harm. If you want to debate the meaning of the word harm, fine. but medical definition wise, DSM wise, all other medical documentation wise, the fact that it hurts is proof of harm. Okay? For fuck's sake. Gonna close out on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So if you could, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to get those comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Smelling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you in the live in a few minutes.